Hi, and welcome back to Old Fashioned Graces. This is Caitlin. Today we have a clean with me video, part 1 of my bedroom. As you can see from this beginning footage, it is in desperate need of some help. This is where I sort all of our laundry currently. I'm still trying to figure out potentially a better situation for that. We have a dirt floor basement, which is where our laundry area is. But because of it's a dirt floor basement and there's got some moisture issues down there, it does not make it a good spot to sort laundry, to take care of it. I grew up in a large family and we had a certain amount of laundry that was just stored in the laundry room, and that worked great. But being that the laundry is in the basement, it doesn't really work well for us. So as you'll see in this video, most of what is in here is laundry related, either clean laundry or dirty laundry. Also, the pile in the corner here under the exercise ball is all stuff that needs to be packed up for hand-me-downs. Which brings me to our first topic for today. Hand-me-downs. Frugality and minimalist clothing for children. I follow lots of great minimalist content here on YouTube, and I love it. It's great. Very inspiring. I follow people like Lisa Bass of Farmhouse on Boone. She has a ton of kids. A lot of times how minimalists approach the hand-me-down situation is they just don't do hand-me-downs. They buy a new set of clothes for each child, for each size. Either thrifted or brand new. They just let their kids wear out the clothes, and then by the time they're done, they either give away anything that's halfway decent or just throw away the clothes and move on. And they maybe have like 1 or 2 totes of like special grandma made this for them type clothes in the storage. The rest is just done with. We cannot afford to do that. And I'm sure there are a lot of you who are single income families who cannot afford to just buy brand new sets of clothes for their kids every season. So one of the next videos I will hopefully do, as in sometime in the next month or so, is a tour and decluttering of our storage space in the basement, because it really needs to be done. But that's not going to be today. We have totes, just the like Rubbermaid, Sterilite, whatever, 18-gallon totes, the standard size. That is how we store our hand-me-downs. And we keep hand-me-downs from, well, we do home births, and some of the birth supplies are reusable, or you don't use them up all the way. So we have a tote of birth supplies all the way up to our niece who lives with us part-time. She is in like a women's size small right now. And so we have clothes all in that range, girl clothes all in that range, with some boy clothes in the younger sizes, because we haven't had a boy yet. So I keep some like under 6-month size stuff. Plus we have some clothes storage for my husband. And then between nursing, pregnancy, and constantly fluctuating size for me from the nursing and pregnancy, I have 3 or 4 bins of clothes. Because, sometimes I'm larger when I'm nursing, sometimes I'm not. And then we live in northern Michigan, so we have 4 seasons, decidedly 4 seasons, and our winters are very cold. So we have to, we can't just wear one set of clothes throughout the entire year. We definitely need, winter clothes. So that applies into, obviously, for my clothes as well. So I'm going to share what we do for our children's clothes. And I would love to hear what you do and if you have any tips. So right now, our oldest child is going to be turning 6 this summer. And then we have 3 other girls beneath her. And then, like I said, I'm pregnant. So right now, our oldest has 2 smaller, slightly smaller than normal standard size drawers in a dresser. And then each of the younger girls has 1 standard size dresser drawer. And this would be for their play clothes, undies, not socks, but play clothes, underwear, and pajamas. So at our house and on our farm, we classify clothes into 1 of 3 categories. Play / farm clothes, town clothes, so nice stuff, and then church clothes. So I am personally a big believer in dressing up for church. That is how I was raised. I think it's really important, especially because as Catholics, Christians, we believe that Jesus is actually present at Mass. And if you are going to go see the God of the universe somewhere, I feel like that warrants dressing up if you can. Now, obviously, I would never not go to Mass, not go to church because I didn't have nice clothing on. But for Sunday mornings, we know it's coming. We know we're going every week. I want everyone to look nice. So now that you kind of have that framework of how we look at clothes and all that, I will tell you that probably 80% of the clothes my children have are hand-me-downs. We are very, very blessed to get a lot of hand-me-downs. I will say, in my experience, and in most of the people's experience that I know, if you let people know you want hand-me-downs, you can usually get them. People usually are thrilled to just be able to bring you a bag, a bin of hand-me-downs. Now, I'm pretty particular about what my kids wear, and we'll get into that here in a minute, but I just accept gratefully whatever hand-me-downs we get. And then I go through, I pull out the stuff that I want to keep for us. I throw away anything that is just past usable that I don't want to keep for play clothes for the kids. This is just kind of a quick update to show you where we're at. And then if there's some nice stuff, but is not really what I want my kids dressing in, then we have a children's consignment shop, and I will try to sell it there. And then I use that store credit to buy what the kids need. And then I will also pass things on to other moms I know. Keep the hand-me-down train moving. Then I would say so I said 80% hand-me-downs, probably another 15% that is thrifted. I do love thrifting. I find it harder and harder to do with a bunch of littles. And online thrifting just is not a fit for me, except for occasionally very few things. I bought the shoes I wore on my wedding day off Poshmark, and I loved them. But I had the exact same brand of shoes in the same size in a different color, and I needed blue for my wedding day instead of the black ones I owned. So I just got them, like, I knew what size, I knew what brand, all that. But otherwise, I have a really hard time buying shoes or clothes that fit right offline. I'm someone that needs to try stuff on in person. So the remaining about 5% of stuff I buy brand new. Now, of the stuff I buy brand new, it is primarily underwear, which I feel kind of falls in the duh category, and socks, and then things that are more undergarments, like leggings or tights. Because we only have the girls so far, and with how my girls are built, so as what I talked about, things I don't like my children wearing. One would be cartoon images. We don't really do cartoon images. So any characters, especially any Disney, but really any characters at all. In general, even just like the cute, like graphic tees, I try to keep their clothes fairly, I don't want to say plain, because if you look at what my girls wear, you would not say it's plain usually. But character free, symbol free. I don't like dressing my girls in a bunch of like hearts, or there's these like shirts that we have a lot around us locally. I'm assuming that it's a nationwide thing. That's like a pizza and it says, "You want a piece of me," or things like that. I just don't like. I want my little girls to look like little girls. So we focus on like classic pieces. I love Land's End and LL Bean little girl dresses, especially the ones from like the 90s. They're just so cute. And then we just do like classic dresses and shirts. So stripes, florals, even some really fun prints, but they're all, you know, pretty classic. They still have lots of fun. All my girls have their own style and they have lots of fun with it. They love, we were given hand-me-down dance outfits, and those are just in their normal play clothes, and they love wearing them with the sparkles and the lace, and we just wear them until they just wear them until they fall apart, quite literally, and then I sneakily throw them away when they're not paying attention. But they get to have the fun, and it doesn't cost me anything. So that's kind of their play clothes. Usually their play clothes are play clothes because they are stained or just kind of getting really grungy. You know, after a kid wears something for a while and it's not technically stained, but it just doesn't look very good anymore. That would be play clothes for us. We live in a farm. Even during the winter, they still manage to get dirty. I'm convinced that there are some families who are just like immune to dirt and grime, and other families that it just like medically is attracted to. So their play clothes are all stuff that, you know, they can go out and play in the mud, they can play in the sand. If they're helping their dad on a project and they get grease on it, it's fine. That is just, they can be a kid in it clothes, and is largely clothes they can put on themselves. Town clothes is nice clothes, but not necessarily as nice as like church clothes. It's like in winter, A lot of their church dresses are like velvet and all that, and we don't really wear that if we're just going to the grocery store or whatever. That just seems a little bit too dressy. But works great for church. So their town clothes are nicer, and that's where they have a lot of their like pants and all of that. Because we only have girls, and I'm a big believer in femininity and all that, me and my daughters either wear skirts or dresses to church for mass. So all of their church stuff is church dresses, and then my husband has dress pants and button-up shirts for him. So that is kind of how we handle the clothes. So each girl has like a normal dresser drawer full of clothes, which is not quite a week of actual wear. It's more than 7 outfits. But my girls love to change their clothes a lot, and because they play outside a lot, they get muddy, they get wet. There's a lot of laundry in this house. So they have a drawer full, which will change as they get older, and obviously their clothes get... And then they have another drawer-ish, sometimes less depending on the child, of town clothes. And then we don't have a cap on church dresses, but we keep it to... So we've been blessed with enough hand-me-downs and beautiful dresses that I can switch them out season to season. So we have like spring/summer dresses, and then we have like fall dresses, and then we have winter/Christmas dresses. So I try to keep it to about 5 church dresses per season per kid. Sometimes there's less. Sometimes it's a little bit more. It just depends on what we've been given. Obviously, there's also some like birthday and Christmas gift clothes in there too. So that is how we handle hand-me-downs and minimalist capsule wardrobes. Because I personally feel like if your kid has one drawer of clothing that they wear every day, that's pretty minimal. And then for socks, we have a bin downstairs that has hair stuff and socks, and we just keep it all downstairs so that way people can get their hair done and their socks on as we're leaving to go out the door, instead of having to run upstairs and possibly getting distracted and getting socks out of their room. Because we also go barefoot a lot on our farm, so they don't need to wear socks all day every day. It's more of a with shoes thing. So yeah, that's how we do our clothes and hand-me-downs. I would love to hear from other moms, especially with moms with lots of kids and who are still having kids. Because like I'm not to the point of like just decluttering all my baby stuff. I know someday I will be at the point where as my youngest grows out of clothes, I'm just decluttering and that's the end, but we are not at that point yet. So I would love to hear how you do it, and if you have any tips. We have, to kind of give a reference of what we have stored, we have 0 to 6 month in one tote, 6 to 12 month in another tote, and these are very full, but I can fit it in one tote, and then 12 month in one tote, 18 month, 2T, 3T, 4T, 5, 2T, 3T, 4T. You know, each size has its own tote. And like I said, I have multiple totes for me, and my husband has one tote for his out-of-season clothes. So if you have any tips, I would love to hear them. We have a laundry chute as part of our laundry system. My husband installed one for me, so which I love. It's great, especially since the majority of our laundry is dirty laundry is 2 floors above where it gets washed. It's really nice that it just, falls down to the basement. But that means that, it's not like I'm running a load of just my husband and I's clothes. Unless I wanted to sort it out down in the basement. But that would be a lot of work. So if you have a laundry chute, I would love your tips and suggestions for it, because I do find that a lot of laundry just kind of gets abandoned in my room. Because things happen and crises happen, and I get distracted partway through taking care of the clothes, and they don't get 100. They get like 90% put away, but that 10% builds up over time. This footage is about 3 weeks old at this point, and I have to say for the first 2 weeks I did really good at maintaining it. This last week I have been dealing with a lot of fatigue and all that, and I have not been as good at maintaining it, but I'm going to get back on track and do better with it. But it's still not back to as bad as it was at this point. Stay tuned for part 2 where you'll see the grand reveal. And I'm not exactly sure what we will talk about in part 2. If you have anything that you want to hear me talk about, just let me know down below. I think we might talk about when motherhood doesn't come naturally to you, because that's something that's been on my mind a lot as someone who was told it was going to come naturally to me. And then I found out that it didn't. Turns out motherhood is stinking hard. And telling people otherwise is not helpful. So on Monday, we will have another Me Made May video. It'll be our last week of Me Made May videos, and then I will do a recap at the end. And yeah, I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. God bless, and we'll talk soon. Bye.